Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Thank you for joining us today. We are here to follow up on a media release released on February 2nd regarding the outcome of a third-party investigation into an ongoing investigation involving members of the Sarnia Police Service and allegations of harassment. I'd like to remind you that you are allowed 2 questions, one that you submitted ahead of time and a follow-up question. The Chief will begin with opening remarks, followed by a question and answer period. The question and answer period will start with questions from Colin Gowdy, reporter and newscaster from Blackburn Radio.
Thank you, Theo. Good afternoon. The outcome of the third-party investigation concluded that the employee was not harassed, discriminated against, nor experienced workplace violence. There was also no evidence that any statement or actions were made that could reasonably be interpreted as a threat to exercise physical violence. These findings directly support the Windsor and Essex County Crown Attorney's Office, which previously concluded that given the prior history between the parties, the delay in reporting, and the nature of the allegations, no criminal charges should be laid. However, the most recent investigation determined that the workplace has become toxic from pervasive gossip stemming from these and other allegations. All parties involved were the subject of and participated in the said gossip. This behavior could not be attributed solely to any one person. Helen Daniel provided recommendations in her report to the board, and the Association of Deputy and I are confident these recommendations will assist us in directing the Sarnia Police Service toward a more respectful and diverse workplace. Please understand that due to labor laws, I am unable to name any particular employee. I will simply be referring to them as employees.
Colin, whenever you're ready. Sorry, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Colin.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. So I just had one question for you, Chief. So were you surprised by the investigators' finding of pervasive gossip, and what concrete effective actions can be taken to address this conclusion that there was pervasive gossip within the force that led to some of these problems?
I suppose some gossip in the workplace is natural and expected. I was not aware of the extent of the gossip until the spring of last year. The nature of the allegations is in part what caused some of the gossip and was the target of some of the gossip. Confidentiality prevents us from disclosing all the information and facts surrounding any allegations. Therefore, there's much conversation and speculation. It was unprofessional and disappointing. Moving forward, senior management, human resources, and the association will work together to refine current policies while we work to broaden and strengthen our code of conduct and improve the culture in the workplace.
Great. Thanks so much, Chief.
You don't have a follow-up question, Colin?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Colin.
Next will be Tyler, reporter from The Observer.
Hi, Chief. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
So the question that I had was what was being done to return the officer to work safely and by when?
Thank you, Tyler. The return to work plan has been ongoing. The service and human resources have made several efforts and are continuing to explore options for a safe return to work. However, we couldn't complete this work in its entirety until we received the findings and recommendations of this investigative report. As for when an employee will return, it's our understanding at this time they've not been cleared to return to work. This goes for any employee that's on any type of leave.
So as a follow-up, I was going to ask, what is the current standard of practice for conducting internal investigations, and why might that need to change?
I guess my answer would be that it depends on the nature of the investigation. If it's of a minor nature, a Police Service Act investigation, our professional standard branch would follow that up, even a more major one. But wherever there's a perceived possible bias from outside persons that might perceive that we would not be able to conduct it ourselves, we're in the habit of eliciting assistance from outside agencies. If it's a criminal matter, we refer it to another police service. We have conducted investigations for other police services as well. If it's not a criminal matter, then we would hire an outside person.
So was there a particular or particular changes that were being eyed for how that was conducted? I think the news release mentioned that there were some reforms being looked at for that.
We're in the process of reforming or reviewing, I suppose, and updating all our policies. And that would be part of it as well. I don't see that it changes too much because still the perception is that if it's something that we could be accused of any kind of bias, or if it appear that way, then we would certainly reach out to an outside agency.
Next, we will hear from David Burrows, public figure and host of the show with David Burrows.
Chief, thanks for your time this afternoon. Appreciate you taking our questions today. You mentioned in the statement the other day that over the next 3 months, not only will the Sarnia Police Service continue to work with the Sarnia Police Services Board, but you'll also look to strengthen that partnership with the Sarnia Police Association to help enhance and direct that action plan. My question is sort of two parts. What type of efforts do you think are needed to strengthen that partnership? And moving forward, do you see a regular review of the policies being a part of that?
Thanks, David. The Service Association already do have a positive working relationship. However, all relationships can be improved and strengthened, and we'll continue to build on that relationship while we work together to create a better work environment. Through cooperation between the association and senior management is how we're going to achieve that.
Okay, and I guess a follow-up to that would be, now that this release has been out and the results are out, what would you say the atmosphere is now with the employees and staff of Sarnia PD?
I'm proud of our officers and civilian staff. I think they've continued to do excellent work throughout these investigations, and I think they will continue to do so. I don't think this will affect them in a negative way. By openly investigating a complaint, I think it actually improves the work environment.
Very good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, David. And lastly, we will hear from Troy Shantz, reporter and photographer from the Sarnia Journal.
Good afternoon, Chief Hansen.
Hello.
So my question is, in a letter to media from McCabe Wyville's lawyer yesterday, that's Staff Sergeant McCabe Wyville, it was stated that the Windsor Police wrote in a report that there was evidence of the assault. However, your summary said there was no evidence. Sorry, your summary of Helen Daniels' report said there was no evidence of harassment or assault. The actual report has since been provided. The police report from Windsor has been provided to media, and I have it in front of me. And it says, as a result of this investigation, I am of the opinion that the reasonable grounds have been satisfied to believe that the accused committed the offenses of assault and criminal harassment. That is from Windsor Police Service, from Scott Amlin. I see there's a bit of a disconnect in if this assault actually happened, and based on your summary, we're led to believe that Helen Daniels' report said it didn't happen. So I'm just looking for clarity on that.
Okay, Troy, thank you. The Windsor and Essex County Crown Attorney's Office, as part of that investigation, concluded that no charges should be laid. That was the conclusion from them. And this was then explored in more depth by Helen Daniel, who concluded that there was no workplace violence, harassment, or cause for fear of violence. So that's my answer to your question. The first report from the Crown Attorney said no charges, and the second report said no workplace violence, no harassment, no fear of violence.
Fair enough. My follow-up question is this regarding this Helen Daniels report. When will this be provided to Staff Sergeant McCabe Wyville, the Ministry of Labor, and will it be released to the public?
Okay, as I said originally, I'm not going to discuss specific employees' names. I mean, you're putting a name out there, which is fine, but I'm just going to refer to employees. When it comes to reports of this nature with employees, they're not disclosed to the public. and a brief summary of their findings is disclosed to any employee involved in the investigation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I've heard from everyone at this time, and if there's no further questions, I suppose we are finished. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.